Oh man, pick up the tools from the last project so we'll be ready for the next one. Get things going. I wonder what the guys are up to today. Oh, hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the Hands-On channel. You snuck up on me there. Anyway, I hadn't done one of those intros in a while. I thought I'd throw back an old school intro style for you, but you know guys, I've been in a great, fantastic mood pretty much. Every day except yesterday. I was kind of in a sour mood yesterday and I wanted to make a video, but I knew that it would come off pretty angry and you guys would be able to see. My wife tells me that when I'm angry and I'm shooting videos, I do a certain thing with my lips or something and it makes me look angry and tense and stuff like that. And that's not what I'm trying to do here. Right now is a time of celebration, man. I mean, my God, I never thought it would come true, but I feel like I've been winning so much since Trump got elected. I've been winning so much that I'm kind of getting tired of it, to be honest with you. I've watched so many TikTok videos of blue-haired liberals melting down and talking about how because Roe v. Wade and all this and Trump's going to ban abortion, they're not going to have sex. So, I mean, okay, I can only vote for the guy one time and the election's over. So, I mean, I don't even know how to process that. It's so fantastic to see what we're seeing right now, guys. And I hope you've been enjoying this. And, you know, we've had a week or so here of just celebrating and Trump's picking some of the best picks, man. I mean, we'll go over that here in a minute. But first of all, the other good news that's been going on yesterday or the day before, CNN, MSNBC, NBC, pretty much all of the mainstream media, Mockingbird media news sites have announced that they're doing drastic layoffs. I mean, that is huge, guys. That is a huge win. We're not only fighting back, and we haven't won this thing yet. Don't rest on your laurels or whatever. You can't let up now. You still have to fight hard, and that's what I'm going to try to do with videos like this, and we can all talk about this sort of stuff. I want to know down in the comments, I mean, are you excited about this with the prospects that lay ahead of us? I mean, for once, I feel like, the best way I can describe it is America's back, baby. We're back. The boys are back in town, and we ain't taking no crap, right? And if the boys want to fight, you better let them. That kind of a feeling. That's what I've got right now. And I hope that this holds. I hope that Trump does all the things that he says he's going to do. And the reason I was sort of bummed out yesterday was because I found out about Fuel, however you say the guy's name, Mitch McConnell's pick to be the leader of the Senate. And, you know, forgive me, I don't know what the hell it's called, president of the Senate, whatever the hell it's called, I don't know. The head honcho of the Republicans, the dominant party of the Senate. Mitch McConnell called in a secret ballot, right? And, you know, it's time we get away from this kind of crap where everything's covered up and secretive. You know, I wanted to know who my state senators or my national state senators voted for, right? I wanted to know. And I can't find out who they voted for. They should have voted for the guy that was the most MAGA guy, and I can't remember the guy's name because these three people that Mitch McConnell pulled out of his hat, you know, they're kind of do-nothing senators, at least from my knowledge of them. They're not in my state. They're nowhere near my region. So I don't really pay much attention to them because I don't have that kind of time to see what all these different people are doing all the damn time, right? No one does. So, I mean, I got my own life to live. I'm trying to build a 100-acre homestead over there for my wife and stuff in the future. And so I don't have time to be sitting there obsessing about every little thing that every little senator does. So what I do know about Fuel was the first go-around in 2016, he was a open anti-Trump, never Trumper type person. And so it doesn't give me a lot of hope that the Senate is going to be on the side of the MAGA people and, you know, the American people. I mean, it was clearly the American people are saying we don't want what Biden has been doing and the blue stuff going on. We want the red stuff that Trump has been promising. You know, you can tell that from the election results, right? Unbelievable. So, I mean, I'm just still in a euphoric state of mind because it's just been amazing. Some of the picks that Trump has gone with, Tulsi Gabbard, you know, again, you know, a lot of people have criticisms of her because she was a Democrat. She was very anti-Second Amendment not very many years ago. And I get that. But at the same time, she has come a long way around, and, you know, she's turned full circle. And we have to be, as a party, as a people, we have to be able to realize that just because someone is ignorant about something or they haven't looked at it the right way yet doesn't mean they'll never come around. So unlike the Democrats, who are openly calling to cut ties with their families and stuff like this over this election because their parents voted for Trump or whatever, right? And I've seen multiple TikTok meltdowns where these libtards are sitting there saying, oh yeah, I'm not going to call my dad anymore. I basically disowned him and I don't want to be in his life anymore. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, fine. If I was that person's dad, I'd be like, okay, I'll remember that when you have car trouble or when you need you need someone to come pick you up in the middle of the night because you got a flat tire and you don't know how to change it yourself or whatever, right? I mean, that's a two-way street. And I think they're going to find out very quickly that it just doesn't work like that, like they think it does. A lot of these trolls that have been threatening to shave their heads and whatever, cut off people, divorce people even. They're even openly calling to divorce your spouse if they voted for Trump and you didn't vote for Trump. So first they said lie to them, then they said divorce them. I mean, these people have gone so far off the deep end that, they've gone so far left that they've left the country. I don't remember who said that, but I heard that recently and I thought it was brilliant. They've gone so far left, they've left the freaking country. They've certainly left the confines of the Constitution, and they don't even think about that as they're passing these, crazy dystopian laws and stuff like this. You want to know who rules you or who controls you? Find out who you're not allowed to criticize. And under Biden's regime, with Kamala Harris right there as second in command, they censored the hell out of everybody. They censored me. They censored many other people. They censored Alex Jones. He was the first one. And, I remember the first time I heard it, I thought it was a little goofy. But somebody said, first they're going to come for Alex Jones. It might have been a German or a Russian guy. I don't remember the guy's name. I think it was a German guy. And, I don't remember. But the guy's quote was basically, first they came for the communists, and I was not a communist, so I did nothing. And it goes through this whole progression. I don't remember all of them. But then at the end of the little quote there, he says, then they came for me, and there was no one left to do anything. That's the way I've been feeling. And I'm sure a lot of you guys have been feeling. Let me know down in the comments. I mean, we've been pushed up into a corner and made to feel like we're the ones that are in the wrong. We're the ones that are the minority. When in reality, if you look at the election map, not just the one that shows the states, I encourage you, go out and look at the election map, the one where it's either red or blue, by county. That will blow your mind. And if it doesn't blow your mind, you're not paying enough attention, because Trump made major gains, okay? I mean, even in places like California, there was a chance, in a fair election, Trump might have actually won places like California and New York, places that were untouchable in the past. Why do you think that is? Well, rhetorical question. I'm going to answer it right now. The reason it is because they've seen the proof is in the pudding, man. You can't afford the pudding anymore under the Biden regime, right? Just so many things right out of the gate. I was thinking about that. I was going to make a whole video about why did Kamala lose? And, I was like, man, there's so many reasons. I don't know if I could make that video in a short amount of time. But, mainly, the main one is because of her boss and the conditions of the United States under Joe Biden's leadership, which we all know, we've talked about multiple times. Biden wasn't leading or ruling or commanding anything. It was coming from other people, I presume Barack Obama, okay? He's not the one that said, hey, I'm going to drop out and let Kamala run. No. I believe now, the more I see that Biden, I presume, I expect that Biden was forced out of office. They probably held the 25th Amendment above his head and they said, hey, if you don't allow us to run Kamala instead of you, then we're going to 25th your ass. And there ain't nothing you can do about it. And we'll send you out packing with a, dementia certificate or whatever, and it will tell everybody the truth. We've been hiding your dementia for 3.5, 4 years, somewhat successfully, because they controlled the mainstream media. So when you look at everything in the grand, 40,000 foot view, when you're backing off from the Google Images view from your place in your house, and you start seeing everything, and you start seeing the entire painting, you can see that the media is definitely hurt by the 2024 election, Donald Trump's win, okay? I've even heard they're talking about bringing half the panel on The View. They're talking about kicking out half of them and bringing in pro-Donald Trump people. We're winning, guys. This is what winning feels like. When you see blue-haired, overweight, weird, confused gender people coming on and screaming into their phone like you give a shit about that sort of thing. It's unbelievable. From the black lady screaming at the top of her lungs in her car to that one, young little white chick that went out jogging or whatever, and she looks around like this. She makes sure no one's around first because she don't want to embarrass her freaking self, because she realizes what she's doing is embarrassing and she shouldn't be doing it. Then she looks at her phone and goes, "Ah!" and screams at the top of her lungs. Unbelievable. These people are petulant children, and we're finally giving them the spanking that they deserve. We've allowed them to rule. The American people, they said January 6th was some sort of an insurrection. And, again, I'm not calling for anything or anything like that, but I'll be honest, I was a little bit disappointed with January 6th, because I knew, and you knew, and the entirety of the American people that are willing to see, and the ones that have eyes to see and ears to hear, they knew that the 2020 was stolen. They knew it. 15 million votes short this time. Where did those 15 million votes come from? Well, I'll tell you. I know they came from old folks' homes. They went into old folks' homes. I mean, if that doesn't tell you what a scumbag these people are, they'll go in there where people are at their end of their lives, and they'll be like, "Oh, well, you don't want to vote for Hitler, do you? You don't want to vote for this fascist over here." And of course, these elderly people, as you get old, you start getting more and more like Biden, and you get more malleable. You can be shaped into anything that they want to shape you into. And these evil Democrat scumbags figured that out, and they went into, where your grandma is, where your great grandma is, your great grandpa, whatever, your great uncle, whatever. They're in these elderly places for end of life care. Here comes the Democrat Party to, what do they call it? Harvest their ballots. I mean, WTF. I never heard of this ballot harvesting until 2020. Have you? I mean, maybe it was a thing and it just wasn't such a big thing. But the mail-in ballots, that's why, guys, everything is coming crystal clear now. Everything is coming in, and I'm like, yeah, I was 100% right about that mail-in ballot stuff and how it was going to be more open to fraud. That's why YouTube censored me. That's why they said I can't question the results of the 2020 election. And you always can tell when someone's lying out of their ass, because they'll tell you the opposite is true. They said with a straight face, all of the Mockingbird media said with a straight face that this is the most fair election we've ever had in 2020. With all those mail-in ballots, with all the, the dead voters that the Democrats refused to allow to be purged from the voter rolls. Here's another really interesting fact, a little tidbit that points out the fact that they have been cheating their ass off. Look at the election map that shows the places where the states where Kamala won. Every single one of those states, without question, is a state that does not require ID to vote, meaning any Sally Suckface or Johnny Jerkoff can come in there and pretend they're someone else and vote. Of course she won those states. That's where they're cheating the hardest. They did cheat. Don't kid yourself. It's not that they didn't cheat. It really was that it was too big to rig. The American people, we rose like lions out of slumber. We said, no, we're not going to take this shit anymore. We're not going to take it. We're Americans. We have a constitution. We are a land of laws that are applied equally to everyone, and you don't get to just target your political enemies. So back to the reason Kamala lost. Lawfare. The American people saw this stuff when Trump was getting brought in on these stupid trumped up charges about Stormy Daniels when almost every other Democrat did similar things. You know, Clinton paid off some broad. They didn't take him to court and sue his ass off over the deal, try to lock him up. You know, and the other thing about the real estate thing, saying he overvalued his real estate when everyone else does it, and they had never prosecuted anyone else under those terms. They were looking for things to get him on. And I have told you guys before, I don't care who you are. I don't care how smart you are or how much money or how little money you have. If the federal government dove into your life, they could find something that you're completely unaware of that you're doing wrong and you're doing illegal. Guarantee you. Guarantee you. That's everyone in the United States. That's why, I don't remember who said it, but when the laws become so voluminous that, you know, the common man can't even understand it anymore, you don't have a constitutional republic anymore. And that's where we are. And one of the most exciting things, and I'm really excited about this. I've heard both different sides of this argument, but Trump has created this out of thin air, this new government entity that's going to come in and, you know, look at the efficiency and look at all this different stuff, Doge or Dodge or whatever they call it, Department of Government Efficiency, ran by Elon Musk, a very successful business owner, and Vivek Ramaswamy, a super smart guy. Both of those guys, super smart guys, maybe even geniuses, okay? And, you know, again, I know that there are criticisms about that. You say you want to reduce the size of the federal government, but you're doing that by expanding the federal government. It seems a little counterintuitive. And there are already other government entities in place that are supposed to be looking into government efficiency. But my hope is Trump is giving them the ultimate authority to be able to fire these people. You know, like that movie Office Space, that scene where he goes in, and I can't remember what the guy's name was, the fat guy that was arguing about his stapler, and he was all like real quiet and timid voice and everything, and they finally moved the fat guy down to the basement and everything. Well, then the two headhunters come in, and they're like, oh yeah, Milton, or whatever his name was, tell me exactly what it is you do here. And he was like, you know, he couldn't explain it because there's so much of that in the United States. So I get it that some people are a little skeptical right now because they're creating another section of the federal government to eliminate the federal government, or to reduce it, not completely eliminate. I said that incorrectly, but you get what I'm saying. They're trying to reduce the federal government. And they give someone like Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, if they give them enough lead on their line, on their chain or whatever, and they let them actually do it, we're talking about something that I've only ever heard talked about during campaign runs of Republicans for years and years and years, probably all the way back to Ronald Reagan, or maybe even before then. But as long as I've been alive, long enough to, you know, and with it enough to pay attention to politics, old enough, you know, to understand what was going on politically. So from Reagan on, every Republican that has ran for office, go look it up. I'm not 100% on this, but I'm like 99%. Every single one of them. I've heard this over and over and over. What are we going to do when we get elected? We're going to reduce the size of the federal government, and they never do. The closest it ever came was Donald Trump 2016 to 2020. That was the closest it ever came. And he actually did reduce the government and reduce regulations and stuff like that by telling the EPA and other regulatory groups that every time you pass one new regulation, you have to get rid of like 3 or 5. I don't remember how many it was, but it was an enormous number because he was trying to cut it down. Meanwhile, Biden came in, reversed everything, turned it on its head. You guys remember, for one, right out of the gate, trying to mandate the vaccine. Okay, that was a big, big mistake, a big, big problem. You know, and then weaponizing the Department of Justice against his political enemies by saying it wasn't just Trump. Remember, Trump told us years ago that they're not coming for me. I'm in the way. They're coming for you. And he was right. He was absolutely right. Because you remember, what was it? What'd they say it was? 74 million, however many voted for Trump in 2020. Biden came out and was saying that those people are on the domestic terror watch list, And if you're ultra MAGA, you know, you're anti-American, you're anti-democracy, all the stuff. You're pro-Hitler. I mean, because how else could a guy like Trump that they're calling Hitler have that kind of support unless his people were also, you know, supporting that sort of a behavior? And of course, that couldn't be further from the truth. We're all anti-Hitler, I'm pretty sure. And I think their Hitler argument has finally ran out of steam. Pretty much all of their arguments have. They've hit the wall. They can't debate us. They won't debate us. They have no sound, logical arguments that are based on Constitution or the Bill of Rights or anything good about the United States of America. Their whole thing is tear it down, burn it down, BLM, Antifa, all that crap that we've witnessed. So anyway, these are very exciting times. This is the most excited I've been about my country since I was a kid learning about how great it was. And I'm telling you guys, we have the potential right now. I mean, we can shoot for the stars, I'm sure. I don't know, man. I just think this is an incredible time to be alive. There's going to be potential for a lot of people to get rich. If that's what you want to do, there's going to be a chance for a lot of people to make a lot of money because they're fixing to take their foot off of the oil and gas industry here in the United States. And once that happens, everything else as a result is going to come down in price. You're going to be able to go to the store again and buy $200 worth of groceries that'll last you, you know, 2 weeks or whatever, or at least a week and a half for a couple of people. Maybe that would be less for a family of 4. I realize that. But, you know, that's how it was. Now we're spending twice as much. They're trying to tell us it's just, you know, 7% inflation all this time. Everything they do is a lie. Everything they say is a lie. And they have nothing. They have nothing. Except for they want to kill babies at will, you know, all the way up to and after birth. I'm sure they'd like to have that afterbirth abortion as well. But my God, these are exciting times. And I hope you guys are getting ready because, I mean, you know, for me, what this means is I'm going to be able to get a lot of my projects done that I've been putting off because everything's so expensive. So car parts start coming down. Maybe I could work on I've got that white Chevy pickup truck that I'm wanting to get back on the road. That's great. If gas prices are down lower, I mean, maybe I'll put a hot 350 in it or a 454, maybe a 396 or something. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll big block it. I don't know, but it depends how cheap gas gets, right? Certainly I'll be able to do a fat burnout and I won't feel all guilty about it. So that'll be a win. I mean, and bringing production back to the United States, I mean, guys, yeah, again, I'm just euphoric about this. I can't believe it. I mean, it's almost too good to be true. So we still have to hold their feet to the fire. If you're living in that state where Thune or Thule or whatever that guy's name is going to be head of the Senate, the one that's, you know, just got elected by McConnell in his secret election, if you're in that state, you need to put a lot of pressure on that guy. I can't really do it from outside. I guess I could figure out who that guy is and call him and say, hey, I'm from a different state, but you know what? You're head of the Senate, so you need to support Trump. And we have to bug them, you know? Like someone told me years ago, you want to go get a job and you're having a hard time, you got to bug them until they get so tired of you bugging them that they finally hire you just to get you out of their hair. You know, you got to go in there like every day, every other day and be like, hey, you hiring anybody? You got anything going on? I'd sure like to come work here. You got to bug them about it. And that's what we're going to have to do with these senators and these representatives and hold their feet to the fire. We want this agenda. We want to reverse every single thing that Biden has done. Trump says that first day he's going to come in and undo Biden's electric car mandate or whatever that thing is, the incentive program to get people on electric cars and all this stuff. So there's something in the transportation bill that basically makes it to where car manufacturers that produce gasoline engines, I believe by the year 2030, are going to have to meet these ridiculously impossible or nearly impossible quotas to make gas mileage much, much lower, right? So whatever it is, it's going to have to be way less than that by 2030, or you won't be able to sell a gas vehicle here in the United States because of our EPA emissions and stuff like this, right? So if Trump can undo that, and I don't know how, because that was actually a congressional law, you know, that law was passed by the Congress. So I don't know how that works, you know, that's beyond my pay grade, but we need to undo that because there was also a mandate in there for kill switches on vehicles and stuff like that. And just this This Orwellian nature that the federal government has been going towards, all of that stuff needs to be reversed. We need to quit spying on people that ain't doing nothing wrong, okay? If you come to our country and, you're maybe from the Middle East or something and you've got, maybe some nefarious people in your family, yeah, we should be tracking you. But, Johnny and Sally down the road there, or grandma when she's trying to get on the plane. We don't want to be ridiculous like that. We're not going to be ridiculous people in the name of not discriminating, okay? Because whether we want to admit it or not, discrimination, we all use it every day. When you go and buy something, right, from somebody, and maybe it's a stranger on Facebook or whatever, you use your discrimination. And I don't mean racist type stuff. I mean like, you get a vibe off of them. You're like, I don't know, this guy strikes me as kind of a shyster. Doesn't matter what color they are. It's just that person's kind of a shyster, and I think they might be trying to rip me off, right? And so you don't do business with those people. That's using discrimination and not going out and just being open to everything and anything. No, we have to be discriminatory, right? We have to be. And when you're frisking 90-year-old women to get on an airplane because they might potentially be a terrorist, I mean, that's unnecessary, uncalled for, un-American. So we're not going to be doing that shit anymore. I hope that Trump gets all of that stuff straightened out, because he has an opportunity right here to reverse. Maybe this is a bit optimistic for me to say this, but my gut is telling me that Trump could do more positive than the Democrats have done negative for the past 50 years. He could reverse 50 years of Democrat control and over regulations, over taxation, on and on and on. Talking about reducing the income tax to 15% across the board, that would be badass, because right now it's over 30. I don't remember exactly what it is, but it's over 30, and it's going up all the time if you're self-employed like I am. It's not the same if you work for a company and get a paycheck and they do all your taxes and stuff like that. It's not quite as bad on that level. And of course, a lot of that depends on how much money you make as well. But yeah, I mean, it's been a boot on my throat since I started my business, because, I started under Obama, believe it or not. I started my oil field company under Obama because that's when I had to do it. And I started out in a bad economy. I started out with someone that was anti-oil. And then Trump came in miraculously, and I actually had the best years of my business until right toward the end. And the reason things started slowing down at the end was two things. COVID was a big time factor. And the other thing was we had such a glut. We had drilled and pumped so much oil and natural gas that we had no place to store it anymore, okay? So I work in the drilling side of the industry. Once you hit that glut, drilling shuts off, because there's no more need to do that if you have no place to store it, no matter how much money they're making off the oil. So these are really exciting times for American independence and people that love, freedom and liberty and self-governance and all those wonderful things that our country is founded on and based on. And, another thing that I think we need to get back to, it used to be printed on our currency, like one of our earliest currencies that the United States printed out way before the Fed. We figured out how to print money and all that stuff on our own without the Fed, right? Way before the Fed, back in like John Adams' days, on the coins, it said, mind your business. Meaning two things. I take that two ways. Take care of your business on one way, and in the other way, stay out of other people's business. Mind your business. And for years now, when Democrats have been in control, it's spy on your neighbors, rat on them, tell on them. And that's not the kind of, I'm sure you guys have worked in places like that. I've had multiple jobs like that where you knew that there were brown noser spies amongst you, okay? And sure enough, the way you could figure it out is you could say something a little bit edgy or controversial, and then finally it would get back to wherever you didn't want it to get, and you could tell exactly, it was pretty easy to find these people and smoke these moles out and stuff, but I've run across them, and that's not a good environment to work in. It's not a good environment to live in either. So, guys, I'm really excited. Matt Gaetz as Attorney General, I think is what he's picked. Oh my God. If he gets, if he gets through the Senate, The Senate's already saying things. The rhinos are already saying things like, oh, we're not going to vote for him under any circumstances. So, guys, if you hear your senators saying that sort of stuff, you need to start a campaign locally. All your friends, all your family need to be calling them every single day and bugging them and saying nope, or emailing them, whatever you have to do, all of the above. Go down there if you can and visit with them. Say, look, man, I voted for Trump. I voted for MAGA agenda. I want you to allow this guy to do what he wants to do. Let's see what happens when you unleash the power of the United States. Because I'm telling you guys, if what I think's coming is coming, none of us have experienced anything like this. It's going to be, again, we're going to be winning so much, we're going to get tired of winning. We're going to be back to the richest nation on the face of the earth. And one of the ways we're going to do that is we're going to withdraw from a lot of these Paris Accord, climate bullshit deals where they have crippled us and tied both of our legs together and both of our hands behind our back and said, oh yeah, go ahead, go out there and compete with China and all these other places. China has nothing on them. In fact, they're probably giving China money to pollute and to send stuff out into the, they send it up into the upper atmosphere and it blows around on us anyway, and so, no, we're not going to do that sort of thing. We're not going to cripple our manufacturing and our businesses, and people are coming back. Did you hear what Qatar did over in, the Middle East? Immediately after Trump was elected and they said it was official, the leaders of Qatar said, okay, Hamas, get out. Hamas is now saying, hey, we want to end this thing. We want to end this thing. Russia and Zelensky are now saying, hey, we're willing to talk to the Americans about peace deals and stuff like that. You haven't heard any of that stuff under Biden. It's been war, war, war. And the times they did try to have peace deals, Zelensky and Putin, they had some sort of a meeting. Biden came in and said no. So, guys, the globalists have lost control. One other thing I want to talk about right quick. I know I've been all over the place here. I hope you're enjoying the video. I hope I got you thinking about stuff because this is what I've been trying to process. There's so much coming in. I can't possibly touch it all. I can't touch all the presidential picks, but I think 90% are good. The only one that I really question is Marco Rubio. Why did he bring little Rubio in? I don't know. I don't get that. Maybe Rubio has changed, so I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt for a little while to see how he acts. But if he acts like a rhino, like he used to do in the past, Trump's going to have to be willing to fire him immediately and get somebody else in there. But maybe he'll be good. I don't remember exactly what position that was he was appointed to, but it was a very high, was it Secretary of State or something? I don't remember. But one of those positions, Marco Rubio. So I don't like that. I'd have picked somebody else. But again, maybe Trump knows things about Rubio that I don't know. I'm willing to admit that. So we'll give him a chance to see what he does. I'm really excited about this Department of Government Efficiency organization. I wanted to finish off on that. I'm bouncing around so much, I'm not finishing my thoughts here. On that Doge organization, government organization, they've set a time limit on it. It expires in 18 months. So it's not going to be around forever. You won't be able to say, oh, look, Trump expanded the government. He will temporarily to reduce the government because he needs all the help he can get. The bureaucracy has been made to such a Goliath, such a giant, that it's going to take everyone in elected office to fight back against this thing. And it all started under Woodrow Wilson, or no, I'm sorry, not Wilson. It was FDR, I believe. Yeah, the New Deal, way before my time. But the New Deal was where all that deep state stuff, the very first seeds of the deep state were planted back then. And they've been allowed to flourish and blossom ever since until Trump comes along. And he sees that weed and he's going to pull it. I hope so. That's my hope. That's the way he's acting. The kinds of people he's putting into place. Oh my God, the borders are. I don't know this guy. I haven't been following this guy. I'm going to draw a blank on his name right now, but you guys know who I'm talking about. The guy they brought in, he was ex-Border Patrol, I believe, or ICE or something like that. Maybe his name will come to me in a minute, but I can see his face. I just can't picture his name right now. But anyway, the things that guy is saying, I don't know who he is, don't know much about him, but I automatically love the guy. He's saying all the right things. Now, is he a man of action or is he a man of words or both? I don't know. Time will tell. But one little piece of bad news that really saddens me right now, and it just happened today. I knew it was coming up. I've mentioned it a few times here on the channel, but there really ain't nothing a guy like me can do about it except, tell you how I feel about it. Well, I don't like it. The censorship that they've done. Alex Jones being the original canary in the coal mine type of a deal. And, when they first came for, that's where I got off track. When they first came for Alex Jones, and all that, right? Then they came for everyone else, including me. And I fought like hell for the past 4 years, really more than that, to stay on this platform because YouTube has not made it easy for me. One day things will be open and for free discussion. The next day I put it up, and if you don't stay on top of those community guidelines, they'll swat you down because YouTube is building a system that mirrors the federal government. There are so many little different nuances and different things that they can get you on that are gray areas. They're not black and white, so you don't know clearly where the line is, right? Well, that's happened many times. They kicked Alex Jones off YouTube way back a long time ago. When was that? I don't remember exactly when that was. Was that like 2016 or something? Maybe before then. They kicked him off YouTube because they knew he had the attention and the ears of a big giant voting bloc, okay? And they wanted to shut him down. It didn't work. He went over to Infowars. People followed him over there and to ban.video. Well, today, the judge, because of the outcome of the Sandy Hook case and the, $2 billion that they made a private individual responsible for paying, that no one could possibly pay, or most people couldn't pay that. They made him auction off Infowars, right? The judge came in and put it under an auction. And apparently there's some shenanigans going on because according to Alex Jones, he had several sympathetic investors to Infowars that were wanting to continue Infowars with Alex Jones remaining at the helm. And they were outbid, although they weren't outbid because of money. They were outbid because of favoritism. And so there was some little clause in there that it wasn't about how much money, that wasn't the determining factor of who won Infowars or who won the auction. And so I don't know what their criteria was for that, but I'm sure, as a lot of you have heard by now, The Onion, which honestly, when I first started getting on the internet, back in the late 90s, early 2000s, I remember hearing about them, The Onion. And you would see things from time to time, these catchy headlines that, they had just enough truth in them that made you believe they were true. And I even remember getting caught in that a couple times. Like I would send my wife a news article, right? I'd send her some news article and I'd be like, holy crap, do you believe this? They're actually doing it. And she'd be like, oh no, that's a satirical news site, and I just didn't know. So that's how I found out about The Onion years ago, was because I got sucked into that trap where I thought it was real. They weren't saying, oh, this is satire anywhere in the article. It was just presented as fact, with a headline. So anyway, I fell into that trap years ago because I wasn't putting up enough guards, right? Well, now they're going to take that. The Onion won the auction, and they're going to take Infowars, something Alex Jones has been working on for decades now, and they're going to turn it into a satirical news site. So a lot of people are going to be tricked, just like I was, by The Onion years ago. And so, I don't know. Supposedly there's a judge getting involved because apparently, according to Alex Jones, the people that were behind him and backing him to purchase the auction, to win the auction, they bid a higher price than The Onion did. But The Onion won the auction. I don't know. You tell me how that happens. So the Democrats have been wanting to do this for a long time because they know that even though, I guess what Alex does so well that others don't do is he has a way of like the frog, turning the frogs gay. Okay, that's a great example. And I don't remember what that chemical was, atrazine or something like that, or maybe it was the one that started with the B. I don't remember, BPA, whatever that stuff is. They found out years ago when he first said that, you know, like a decade ago, that these chemicals that are ending up in the waterways are literally turning the frogs gay. But it's like, I don't know, maybe that's too simple of a way to say it. It was like making them into hermaphrodites or something. The point is they can no longer reproduce, and they were going to die off, those ones that had been, you know, transmutated by whatever this chemical was, right? And Alex Jones famously said, they're turning the freaking frogs gay, you know, right? Remember that? I mean, it's been memed a million times. And he's memed himself about it, even dressing up like a little gay frog. So, I mean, a lot of the stuff that Alex did, I mean, almost every time, you know, I'm going to say at least 70% of the time that I watched Alex Jones' show, I mean, he would crack me up. The guy is hilarious, man. I mean, when he starts doing the Cobra voices and the different, you know, G.I. Joe Cobra, and, you know, just all these different things, the Klaus Schwab stuff that he did. I mean, so many good things. Well, the good news is apparently Alex already has a Alex Jones News or something like that. I don't have the link. I haven't actually gone there myself, and I don't even know if it's live yet. He claims he's going to stay at InfoWars until they turn the lights off or drag his ass out of there, which kudos to him. I mean, the guy is a fighter, whether you like him or not. But my point is he has a way of saying things like that, like turning the frogs gay, that it's, I mean, there's truth behind that if you look into it. It gets attention brought onto that because of the meme. And so I'm going to miss InfoWars, no doubt about it. I love InfoWars, and we owe a great debt of gratitude to Alex Jones and others like Alex Jones that have been out there trying to wake people up even when it wasn't popular to do so. But the tides are shifting. The pendulum, I believe, is swinging back our direction towards a constitutional republic, limited government, the smallest government, you know, a small enough government that it fits inside the Constitution. That's all I'm asking for. And I don't believe that the federal government should be the #1 employer in the United States. I don't believe that. It needs to be the private sector because that's important. That's how they built up the deep state or the swamp or the blob, whatever you want to call it. Anyways, guys, I don't want to run on too long about this. Looks like we're getting a little long here in the video. I appreciate you tuning in. I mean, I hope you're having a great time. I'm not saying go out and spend all your money or anything like that, but I think that in the future, we're all going to have the opportunity, if we're willing to work for it and work hard for it, to get back into the groove of things and start making some real money again and just make America great again. Maybe we can make the best products on the face of the planet again, and people will want to buy our stuff because it's the best. You know, maybe we'll start going after the Chinese for stealing our ideas and avoiding our patents and stuff like that, and just doing whatever the hell they want and reproducing our stuff. Maybe we can do something about that with a guy like Trump in power. Let's hope so. He's only got 4 years, and in reality, he's only got 2 that are guaranteed, while he controls the House, the Senate, for the most part, and the the judicial. So I mean, red wave, that one that was supposed to come in 2022 finally came. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Let me know what you're thinking about all this down in the comments. I mean, these are exciting times. I can't wait to see what we can do once the boot of the oppressors are off our necks. I'm just so looking forward to it. I can't wait to see Biden leave the White House. And, you know, I'm not sure, even as excited as I am, I'm not sure I'm as excited as Biden is. There's something going on there. They ran Biden off. He was bitter about it. I kind of think he voted for Trump. I kind of think he undermined Kamala at every opportunity. Garbage, all that stuff that he said, because when Trump came in, he was a sweet old man. We're going to make a smooth transition. He was smiling ear to ear, and it looked like a real, genuine smile. So let me know what you guys think about all this. What do you think about Trump's picks for his cabinet? I mean, I think it's an all-star cast. Fetterman, believe it or not, Fetterman, the guy that, you know, was brain dead when he was debating Dr. Oz. Remember all that? And he somehow won in Pennsylvania. John Fetterman came out and said Now, I don't think he meant it in a positive way, but he said that it was the ultimate troll. What did he call it? Yeah, something like that. John Fetterman said it was the ultimate troll, what Trump is doing with his cabinet and stuff like that. So the Dems are melting down. The snowflakes are finally melting, guys. Celebrate it. Don't get lazy. Hold their feet to the fire. We have to, all of them. So anyway, I appreciate you guys tuning in. As always, hit me up in the comments. We can continue the discussion. As always, I stand for liberty to the bitter end. I hope you do too.